Okay, so I don't know where to start, but if you're a mom like me and you have one or multiple children, especially if you have multiple, you see that every child is different. And the most important thing that I've ever done in my life is my children, right? So I have five, four of them I gave birth to. And so being a mom of four kids, and of course, all their personalities are totally different. But when you have the one child who you struggle to connect with, you feel like, I felt like I couldn't, you know, win as a mom because I couldn't win, even though I had great relationships with three of them. It was one of them that I didn't have that. And oh my goodness, it tortured my soul. So if you're a mom, if you ever felt like that ever before, you are not alone. I just want to let you know that first and foremost. And I didn't know what to do. And it seems like the more that I tried, I'm like, oh, my daughter just hates me. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm a very affectionate person. And I would go to give her a hug and she would just, ugh, and I'm like, oh, like, what did I do to her that makes her not even want to touch me or for me to touch her? And then when she would say something that was super excited to me. So, I'm like on 10, like, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's what you did. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. And she would just like be like, okay. And it just seems like the more I tried, the more I failed, the further um we became. And that wasn't enough for me. Yes, I had great relationships with the other three. This right at this time, I was a single mom of four. But just kind of going through this, I didn't have my fifth one yet. And I just felt like a failure. I did. I felt like there was nothing that I can do to make her smile or be happy. And if you feel like that, if you're a mom and you feel like that, or if you ever felt like that, oh, my heart goes out to you because I truly understand and knows how that feel. So one day, I can't remember. I'm always in trainings, right? So I'm always trying to learn, grow, and like in business, right? And personal too, but never like geared towards my children because I grew up in um when I grew up in a society in a world where you listen to your parents, you do what they say, you don't have your own personality, you have whatever personality they told you to have. If you around 50, because I'll be 50 this year, you know what I mean. I like 1,000%, I know. But I knew I couldn't raise my kids the same way. So I'm just struggling. I'm doing all the things. Like I'm working, I'm trying to do extra training and classes because I want a better life for us. I'm taking the kids to sports and I'm coming back and forth. And I just said it just those moments together, we barely had anything to say to each other. I just wanted something more, and it just hurt my heart. So one day I'm at this training, right? And they talk about like, you know, if you do the same thing over and over again, it's insanity and da da da. And I've heard this phrase like 50 million times, like over and over again, right? And but that day it was something different. That day it was, how do I say it? It just hit totally different. And I had my aha moment and I'm like, wait a second. I'm trying to do the same thing over and over again with my daughter. And this is it's not working. Right. So this is like the definition of insanity. And so I said, okay, I need to do something different. So from that moment on, I'm like, okay, let me get my hands on all these different things because I need to understand her first, right? And so I learned about different like personalities types, right? And so we talk about introvert and extrovert and ambivert, and I'm learning all this and I'm taking it in, and I know 110% that I'm an extrovert. But then I'm starting to see like, oh wait, she's an introvert, and I kind of knew that, but then I'm like, oh, we have two sides of us, right? And so I'm like a double extrovert. So I'm always on the go. I do, don't get me wrong, I do need time to kind of like unwind. but it's not as much as most people need. And but I realized that she was a double introvert. And I'm like, oh, and the light just blew up. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So as I'm like, hey, da da da, she's just like, oh, like, let me just go in this corner over here and just kind of bury myself. And so I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't understand that. And this is wonderful. And I got to figure out, after I figured that out, I was like, let me see what each one of the kids are. And the reason why I was able to gel with the other kids is because they had two sides. Now, um, all of them had an introverted side, but their second one was extroverted. And so they're ambiverted. And so I was just like, that's why I'm able to really kind of connect with them. And when I get hype and silly and stuff, they're able to get hype and silly with me, but they do still need their time where their um, social battery is draining. And I said, okay, now I know something. I know something a little different. I know why it's different. Now let me try to figure out how this is. So you talk about personality tests. I took so many of them because I wanted to truly understand. And so through I went through all of this, and I'm still like trying to understand and find out, because as I'm learning this, of course, I'm testing these theories out. And I'm like, oh, I feel like she still hates me. Like, why does my daughter still hate me? Like, I just learned this and I'm trying to implement it, and she's still like doesn't want to be bothered with me. But then I just kept on learning and growing. And the beautiful thing is that the more I grew and learned, not only was I was doing this so I could have a better relationship with her, but this allowed me to understand myself better. This allowed me to see I call them my superpowers, and then see my shortcomings, and then start to look at her and look at the things that she's gifted with and how to interact with her, and then how to interact with my other children. And it was just game changer. It's like such a big game changer. And so I tell you, if you're a mom struggling and you don't know what it is that you need to do, but you know what you've been doing has not been working, I get it. I totally understand. And at the end of this, I'm going to give you something that's going to help you to identify who you are, who's in your family, and how their strengths, their weaknesses, and how to incorporate that and understand and love every part of it. But the more you understand, the more you're able to kind of just accept that. And then this very same thing is going to help you in the business world, in every relationship that you have, just understanding who other people are, but understanding yourself, and then tools to tell you what it is that you need because of who you are. And then you can take those same tools and teach your children. So, but I'm getting down the path too fast. So, um, let's see. I think this is still like maybe about 2012, 2013. And I'm learning all this stuff, and I'm like trying to implement it. And I get some right, I get some wrong. And I say instantly, like, it's written all over her face. What was that song? It's written all over her face. You don't have to say a word. That was like my daily life, because I'm trying to test these out and trying to see what the reaction is. And it was just a very trying time, because even though I found this information, I didn't know how true it was, because there's a ton of information out here in the world, and we don't know what'll work, what it won't work. But I just knew this was going to work, and so I was testing and trying it. And let me tell you, I was able to say, wait a second, this is who she is, this is what she needs. When I come to talk to her, I can't come like, hey, because that's me, and I can do that to people who have that extroverted side, but I can't do that to a double introvert, because they just want to shut down. And God just blessed me to find the right books, to listen and watch the right videos. And as I'm learning her, it was I remember one time. This is after I was remarried, and she told me something super exciting. Like I was like, oh my goodness. And so she was like, hey mom. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And she's like, yeah, da 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 da. And in the inside, I'm just like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I'm so excited. And the funny thing is that usually I'll be like showing it on outside. I'll be like, oh my goodness. But I knew because I knew her now that I couldn't do that. And so I said, okay, well, I like the, what do you think about that? I love that. What do you think? And she tells me, and I'm like, okay, all right, that's awesome. And I said, well, do you need any help? Or blah, blah, blah. She was like, no. And we connected, and you could tell that she felt a sense of accomplishment, and there was like a great conversation. And then I went in the room with my husband. I was like, oh my goodness, let me tell you. And I learned that that's what I have to do. I have to give the same type of energy to the person who's giving it, right? And that was one thing. And another thing too was that she doesn't always like to be touched. And so for years, I'd be like, yeah, this you my daughter, come here. I gave birth to you. I should be able to hug you and kiss you whenever I want to. And no, that's not the case. She's her own human being. She's her own self. And I have to make sure that I honor and respect that. And so when I learned that I had to say, hey, are you okay for a hug? And she'll be like, yeah. And sometimes she say no. And instead of it being about me, because my feelings used to be so hurt, it's not about me at all. It's about her, what her needs are, what it is that she needs. So if you're a mom, I'm gonna say it again. If you're a mom that feels like you're doing it all wrong, that feels like your kids hate you, like you don't have a good relationship, it's light at the end of the tunnel. There are things that you can learn that makes it so much more beautiful. So, and then too, you got to remember, like they're kids, and depending on what season they're in, like they're not going to be your best advocate because, and sometimes they're going to be like, my parents don't know anything because we were like that back in the day. But so I was blessed, and God blessed me to give me that information so I can have that closeness with my daughter and understand her better. I use that with my kids, and I was able to have better relationships with my kids and treat each one of them individually, not like, oh, because you can do the same things that I can do, or like you can just take me a certain way. I'm gonna treat all you guys the same way. No, I have to treat each and every one of them different and independent to who they are, who God made them. And then I got an aha moment because sometimes, and let me know if I'm wrong, but sometimes there's people who we meet, and if they don't instantly, if I say, hi, how are you? And they're like, oh, hi, how are you? I used to be like, oh, she's funny acting. She not friendly at all. She's this, she's that. And that's not the case. So what I loved is that it even changed my viewpoint on other people and other interactions. Because now when I go out and I'm like, hi, how are you? And they're like, oh, hi. I can read her. I'm like, oh, she's a this. And then and then I'll sit down and I'm like, nice. It's I hate coming to these things sometimes, right? Because we're already tired. We want to, and she'll be like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so tired," and I get so nervous meeting new people, and they open right up. But before, I wouldn't even give that relationship a chance because I would put her in a category where she's not friendly if she doesn't respond the way I respond, or respond the way I feel like she should respond. And I was like, oh, I was thinking so high and mighty of myself because why should she do that? She's her own person. But when you understand people, so you get that. And so I loved it because now I'm taking what God has shared me to get a closer relationship to my daughter, my children, my husband, to now use it everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I'm able to say, oh, they're this and they're that. And so I said, what if there was a book that allowed us to identify and not, and you have to remember all these different types and all these different things. And I just wanted to simplify it, like the names represents who we're talking about. And I said, let me give them names because people were asking me, hey, I see that the relationship with you and your daughter is getting better. And I'm like, yes, it's because, and I'm telling them because I'm so excited about it. It's because of this and da da da. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. I need that help. I wish that da da da. And so I'm trying to explain it to them. And I'm like, and this book taught me this, and this book taught me this, and this personality test taught me this. And like I'm going, I'm compiling like all of this information. And they're like, I'm sorry I even asked her because it's so overwhelming, right? But it was overwhelming for me, but it was so important that I got through it because of what I wanted at the end. And I'm like, how can I take all these different personality tests, all these different books and teachings about different personalities? How can I take all that and combine it and make it something that's extremely powerful that people that, my people are women. I mean, I love you guys out there, and my men can use this too, but it's really for our women to be able to understand people and have an understanding and a love for them, and to be able to have a relationship where it's on both terms, right? It's, I can respect your terms and I understand who you are, and vice versa. And then if you don't have the knowledge that I have, I get it. I understand because I knew how long it took me to get it. And I can actually just talk and be with you in your language, in your personality, in how you communicate. And so I tell you, it's the best thing, from going from thinking my daughter hated me to now having a wonderful relationship with her, and not just her, but all of my children, understanding and respecting them and what they have. And I use it for me and my husband as well, because I'm like, oh, he's just trying to control me. He's just trying to do this. I'm so mad. No, when I understand who he was, him trying to put safeguards up is his way of protecting me, right? And protecting the family. And he took pride in that. And so now that I looked at it different, because I was like, no one's going to control me, right? Don't we say that, ladies? It had nothing to do with control. Once I understood that, then I was able to say, okay, wait a second. Am I looking at this wrong because I had a different viewpoint on it? Or am I, or do I still need to speak up and say, hey, I know you mean this for this, and because you're trying to protect and safeguard us, but it doesn't do that for me. And I need to be able to express this or do this because then that's what I need, right? I tell you, it's simply a game changer. So yeah, I have had notes on all of these things since, was it 2012, 2013? And beginning of 2024, I said, I just need to make a book about it because people keep on asking me, how am I good at this? How am I good at reading people? How am I good at understanding people? How can I get along with almost everyone, right? And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I sat down, and was it 2 months? I wrote this book because I had already had the knowledge. I already had my notes on it. And I came up with the Ultimate Woman's Networking Guide. And it talks about how to get along with people because of their personality types. And I launched it last year. It's been amazing. Me and one of the ladies on my staff, I was counting up all the different events and stuff and speaking events I did with this book because it's such a greatly needed book for us to have. And so I want to tell you that my book not only breaks down personality types in 4 simple, different groupings. So we have the giver, we have the people lover, we have the rule follower, and we have the value seeker. And out of that, I talk about the strengths and the weaknesses. I talk about being introverted and extroverted. I talk about tools we need when we're communicating with people who are not like us, or if we have anxiety, or, all of these different things. And so I feel like you need to get the book because it's going to be a simple read. Great. It's a great guide. And it helps you, as questions and everything in there to help you figure out what it is you need. And I would suggest that you don't even write in the book, because if you're going to use it for different people, it'll allow you to break it down what the needs are. It'll allow you to identify different people and say, hey, this person, I'm having difficulty with them and our relationship, and I want it to be better. And so let me write down these and let me see what I need to do here. And let me see what needs to happen over here. This is something you're going to constantly keep. So if you feel like your children hate you, if you feel like you love your husband or your spouse and you feel like, but we don't get each other, we're constantly clashing. If you're in out there having a business or working in corporate and you need to connect with different people, just say you have a team. You don't even have to network, but just say you have a team and you can't you can't get along with half people on your team. This is going to help you understand your team better. This book, even though I say for networking and for women, it's for everyone, and it's to understand each other, and it'll help you in every area of your life. So don't wait any longer, because that beautiful relationship that you've been looking, hoping, and praying for is right on the other side. And I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear your response of how this book has changed your life and your relationships with others. So go get the book. Don't wait. It's an easy read. You can eat. I mean, it depends on how much time you in a day, in about a week, depending on how serious you are, and your relationships can start changing just like that. So grab the book, The Ultimate Women's Networking Guide. Go on my website, Amour Women, and go into, I think it's resources, then it's a book, but I'll make sure I have the direct link to the book right here. And I can't wait to see your new journey on the other side.